What's up, everyone? Welcome to my very first episode. My name is Gianna, and if you're listening right now, I assume you're somebody who's experienced fake energy and mixed signals. Because, same. Today, we're getting into something that hits way too close to home: manipulation, deceit, and bad intentions. Although they're different words, the effect is still the same. We're going to cover how to spot it, how to call it out, and how to protect yourself without going cold. Because let's be real, most manipulators, they're not obvious. They're sneaky, they smile, they say the right things, and meanwhile, they're quietly rearranging your reality. So, what does manipulation really look like? Here's the thing: manipulation doesn't always look like lying. Sometimes it looks like love bombing, when somebody's flooding you with attention way too fast. Sometimes it's guilt tripping, using things like, after all I've done for you, or you must have somebody else more important. Manipulation is control disguised as care. It's when somebody doesn't want to connect with you, they want to direct you. I've learned this from experience. If somebody constantly makes you question yourself, you're not too sensitive. They're just good at being slippery. Here's the first real red flag: your body always knows first. If you start feeling anxious, drained, or like you're walking on eggshells, that's your cue. Energy does not lie. You want to test somebody's intentions? Tell them no and watch what happens. If they respect it, cool. If they get defensive, distant, or they try to flip it on you, congratulations, love. You just found their true intentions. Some other clues that you can look for are: one, they forget the things that benefit you. So, in other words, they lack consideration of you. Two, they only apologize when it risks their access to you. Three, they confuse accountability with pity. The rule I tell myself is that people with bad intent, they don't slip, they strategize. They know exactly what they're doing, they just don't expect you to catch on. Now, resisting manipulation can be difficult, especially when your emotions are involved. It also takes practice, just like any other skill we've had to master. We could be manipulated by the people we would never think could do this. It could be your parents, it could be your siblings, your partner, friends. It could even be a stranger or an acquaintance. You don't fight manipulation by being colder. You fight it by being clear. Be clear about what you allow, what you don't allow, and what earns access to you. This is what we call boundaries. My therapist told me something in a session one day that unlocked something in my brain. And she said, some people struggle with boundaries and some people struggle with enforcing boundaries. And when she said it, at first I was like, isn't that the same thing? But struggling with boundaries and struggling with enforcing them are two different things. Struggling with boundaries is not speaking up for yourself. For example, laughing it off when somebody says something disrespectful to you and claims it's a joke. Enforcing your boundaries is being firm on what you believe in and standing on business. Like, when somebody disrespects you and claims it's a joke, you would say, hey, I don't appreciate that. Don't do that anymore. Or, I mentioned this before. Can you not do that? Or finally, I don't allow people in my life to say disrespectful things to me disguised as jokes. And you cut the conversation or the interaction right there. That's enforcing boundaries. When somebody crosses a boundary, you don't owe them a novel via text or a PowerPoint presentation with evidence on why. Don't do it. You definitely don't need to crash out either. Trust me, I know. You only end up feeling regret, not always because of how you made the other person feel, but how you represented yourself too. Sometimes crashing out can get loud, it can get messy, you can end up in jail. I'm kidding, but I'm not. The first time you say it, it's a boundary. The second time, it's a warning. The third time, the door is closed, the windows are shut, there is no access here, okay? Don't let anybody make you feel bad for protecting your peace. You're not guarded, you're just self aware. Also, keep energy receipts. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, write it all down and go back to reread it once your emotions are calm. When you're grounded in your truth, manipulators can't rewrite your story. So, real talk, I had a manipulative boyfriend who turned out to be completely different than who they pretended to be. I've also had manipulative friends and family who pretend to care about you or want the best for you, and it's not the case. So The whole reason why we miss the signs, or in some cases completely ignore them, is because of our emotions and the ideas about the relationship that we had in our mind. We miss the red flags because we wanted it to be real. We see potential and we start building people like they're a project. We start to think they're just misunderstood, or they've been through things and that's why blah, 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 when really they're just manipulative. We confuse chemistry with character and then we call it loyalty. I'm going to say it again. We confuse chemistry with character and we call it loyalty. But, anyways, you didn't lose for trusting somebody, they lost for being untrustworthy. You don't have to turn bitter or revengeful, just wiser. Your softness is still your superpower. It's just not for everyone anymore. It's really a hard concept to grasp, especially when you could be experiencing all these emotions after being betrayed or manipulated. But trust me, it gets better. And I still am trying to remain positive sometimes. There's going to be moments of anger and disappointment in yourself for allowing this to happen, or, like, how could this person do this to me? But the reality of it is, you shouldn't turn cold, evil, or give up on positive relationships because of a few bad apples. At the end of the day, you can't control how people move, but you can control how long they move around you and who moves around you. So protect your energy like it's your rent money, because as soon as you spend it on the wrong person, you got to work to get that back, okay? And remember, your intuition is not overreacting, it's just overworked from all the times you ignored it. So I hope this helps. Thank you for tuning into my very first episode, and I appreciate you for being here. Next week, we're going to be talking about reinvention, so make sure to like and subscribe for more. Until then, stay grounded, stay smart, and don't let these clowns audition for lead roles in your life.